Hello, I'm Ajit from USR Production, and if you are a Blender users, then this video is very important for all the Blender lovers. Take an example of this floor video. So in real life, if you will put any object on this floor, then the floor will have some reflection of that object. It means we will have some reflections inside the floor, and at the same time we will get nice shadow. So how we will get nice and realistic effect using Blender, and we'll not do here any complicated compositing. We'll not render out the different passes and then later on we'll compose it using Fusion Studio or the After Effects or the Nuke Studio. I just opened the Blender here, and already I have tracked this video, and the virtual camera is behaving like a tracking video. So if you do not know how to track the video inside the Blender, then I will provide the link in the description, and you can learn how to track the videos. And now, for example, if I'm going to click on the render, we have here sunlight and the plane for shadow catching kind of thing. We are getting here shadows, but if we will watch this everything perspective for the camera view, and now we want this shadow catching in transparent way. So Blender has the built-in shadow catcher. If we will define this plane as a shadow catcher, go to the object property, go to the visibility and click on shadow catcher, and now we have nice shadow catcher here. But similarly, we cannot get here any reflections. So we'll try to do some experiment here. For example, we'll not defining any shadow catcher these things, okay? And now we are going to define this plane as we are giving some material here for this plane. For example, some glossy material or some metallic material. So I'm increasing the metallic property and decrease the roughness. If we will click on render things, then as you can see here, we got nice reflections, right? Increase the size of that plane. Okay, so we have here some nice reflections, and with this very realistic, but we want these reflections in transparent way, because we do not want this grayscale plane here, because we want this reflection on the floor. So what we have to do, we will do click on shadow catching again, and now we have some problem here. That reflection is there, okay, that is not an issue, but that reflection is now again in a grayscale color. There is no, because our object in blue color, so the reflection should also be blue. How we'll get this result without doing any complicated compositing? So we'll try to understand. First of all, delete this object, sorry, delete this plane, okay, and take another plane here. Go to add, mass and plane, increase the size a little bit, that's fine. And now we have to, first of all, we have to make this loop cut. Go to the edit mode, click on this loop cut, make here some loop cuts, okay, or subdivide this plane in many parts. Also go to the object mode again and give here subdivision modifier, subdivision surface modifier, okay. Make it simple, 3, around 3, okay, for view and for render, both are 3. And go to setting here, go to the material view, and here we have to give the textures on it, on this floor, okay. So disconnected this principal BSDF, import the diffuse BSDF here, and you need one more node, that is image texture. Open that same video here. Okay, I have that video here. Before connecting, you have to understand how many frames your video, or check the timeline, how many frames are there on the timeline of that video. That here is about 100, so you have to type here 100 frames, and repeat should you have to click on clip, not repeat. And now color to color, and for diffuse BSDF and BSDF to surface, connect these things. And we will have here the textures on this plane. But if you will watch on layout everything, and perspective with your camera, then the both thing, for example the video and the floor or the plane texture, are different because they are not matching actually. So how we will get the nice result? I mean, the floor should be matched here. Okay, then go to the setting again, and you need another node here. That node is called here texture coordinate, because our video comes in window means there is some window in a shutter, so we have to connect this window to the vector. And now simply we have and that video on this object only, on the plane, as you can see here. Okay, so when you are going in the next plane and you find some glitch here, and you can say, oh guys, this is not working actually. But don't worry, okay, this thing this thing is not updated at the same time. But when you will click again on the object property, or for example, or render things, then this thing is working nicely here. Okay, so now we are getting the shadow here, and we are getting some nice texture here now. But now the time is to get the floor reflections. So click on this plane here. First go to the material view, click on setting, and now this principal BSDF is here. So you have to give like metallic and decrease the roughness. Add another node, add shader. Now your plane is little glossy. If you will check on layout, and if you will hit on the rendering out, then yes, here you are getting your reflections on this floor. But the problem is that the plane texture and the floor texture is not matching together. The colors are different. You can do one thing. You can render out these things from the Blender, and when you are going to composite these whole things and using different software, and there you can match the both colors for this plane texture color and this video colors. And another thing, you can play around, because you are using here sunlight, so you can play with the sun intensity or the strength of the sunlight, so that will match sometimes both color. For example, here if you will check, then the plain color is little darker, then you have to increase the strength of the sunlight. And now as you can see, it is little more exposure there, so you have to decrease the strength of the sunlight. It's somewhere like that. But still, if you are not getting the result here, the color is not matching here, then do one thing again. Go to the setting, go to setting and give this video output to the principal BSDF. Okay, inside the base color. And now our floor is glossy, okay, is glossy, but there is no extra lighting or something that makes it a little white or overexposed. Go to the layout again and click on render thing out. But here we have one problem. We are getting the result, we are getting here the reflection, but this reflection is so dull. In really you cannot see this reflections. Okay, so this way you will get both color matched here. Okay, you do not need to play around any compositing software. Here we are getting the reflection, but it is so dull that is not visible. Go to the setting again and play around with these metallic and specular values. Roughness I made all the way down. It is 0 roughness there. But again, once again, I want to say one thing. If you will disconnect the image for the base color, connecting the video sequence on the base color, then your floor will reflect some white exposure. And if you will come on the layout and click on the render out the things, yes, there is a reflection, but as you can see here, the colors are different from the video is in different color and the floor is in different color. So this is not a big issue. Actually, you can get this result, nice result, using different compositing software. So this was the actual way you can get the reflection, shadows at the same time inside the Blender without doing any complicated compositing. And now, but remember, you have to render out this thing in PNG or TIFF format with RGBA. Alpha must be there because you are rendering out only this object with reflection and shadow catching things. Okay, and this plane is now working as a image texture, and the texture is similar like your floor. Okay, it will match with your video and aspect ratio will also be the same. So here you have to render out the thing in TIFF or PNG format with RGBA. The alpha must present there, so later on you can compose it this foreground and background together using different software. So I hope you got something new from this video. I was so confused how to explain this video, but finally I did it. Thank you for watching this video.